Oh, no way. I do that. When are you gonna have a sister?
I know, right? A week, 2 years ago.
You gotta start working on that.
So keep practicing, but.
There you go. See, then you had a sister, then Big Brother protect.
No, thank you.
This is the Rainbow Municipal Water District Board of Directors meeting for June 23rd, 2026. The board met in closed session with council prior to this meeting. Council, do you have anything to report out of the closed session?
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. No reportable actions. Direction was provided to staff, but there's no reportable action for our item of anticipated litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 D4.
Thank you very much. Call to order for the Board of Directors meeting. Roll call, please.
President Hamilton,
Here.
Vice President Mack,
Here.
Director Townsend Smith.
Here.
Director Hoffman.
Here.
Director Irvine.
Here.
Thank you, we have a quorum.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any additions, deletions, or amendments to the agenda?
None from staff?
Directors?
None.
None from direct. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as published?
So moved.
Moved by Director Mack, seconded by Director Hamilton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Public comment. Any person may address the board at this time upon any subject not identified on this agenda, but within the jurisdiction of the Rainbow Municipal Water District. However, any matter that requires action will be referred to staff for a report and action at a subsequent board meeting. As to matters on the agenda, if a request to make a public comment is received, an opportunity will be given to the board to address the board when the matter is considered. Do we have any requests or?
We have no requests from anyone online, but we do have some participants online.
Okay,
No request.
no requests. Public hearings. Item 7A. Public hearing to consider adoption of an ordinance for Improvement District 1 standby charges. In consideration of the adoption of an ordinance establishing readiness to serve water service standby assessments or availability charges for all Rainbow Municipal Water District Improvement District 1. Staff, please provide information about the Improvement District 1 water standby charges.
Yes, and this is an annual event charge that was initially brought forward in the mid-90s, really meant to cover a portion of the Metropolitan Readiness to Serve charge, which we still pay today. We pay every year. And it's $10.23 an acre. It's assessed across our district, and again, provides a portion of the revenue required for the Readiness to Serve charge. So that's what's before you today.
Okay. Before taking public comment, are there any clarifying questions from board members or staff?
None for me.
No.
At this time, the floor is open to comments from the public. All persons attending the meeting on site or remotely may indicate their wish to speak now. When called upon to speak, please state your name for the record and keep your comments to 3 minutes in length. Do we have any public comments? Requests? Are there any written materials or comments that have been submitted or that anyone wishes to submit without speaking?
None have been submitted.
Thank you. With no remaining requests for clarification or comment, I close the public hearing. The matter is now before the board for discussion and consideration. Is there any question, any board discussion or consideration? If not, do I have a motion?
Second.
Moved by Director Hoffman, seconded by Director Irvine. Roll call vote, please.
Director Mack,
Aye.
Director Townsend Smith,
Aye.
Director Hoffman,
Aye.
Director Irvine.
Aye.
Director Hamilton.
Aye.
Motion
The motion carries 5-0. 7B. Public hearing is now open for consider adoption of an ordinance updating existing service fees and the adoption of new fees, including charges related to service requests and delinquencies. Adoptions of an ordinance establishing administrative fines for water theft and unauthorized use of district water facilities pursuant to Senate Bill 394 and authorizing amendment to section 8.19.010 of the Administrative Code. I will now call on staff to provide a report on the items for consideration.
Yes, thank you. Staff has a quick presentation on this item. This fees, reviewing our miscellaneous administrative fees, new water theft fines, and engineering project deposits, and pumping zone variable charges. This is the table that was presented to the board earlier this month. No changes there. This is a slight increase compared to last year's review of all the miscellaneous administrative charges, like delinquency rate, like late payment for utility bills, return check, lock meter turnoff. Those are slight increases in line with inflation. This new water theft fines, they're new fines. They're established by Government Code Section 53069.45 and 0.46. They allows water districts to increase fines on meter tampering, unauthorized reconnection, water theft, unauthorized water diversion, and unauthorized fire hydrant use. They're incremental for the first offense, second, and third and consequent offense. If approved by the board, will go in effect on July 1, 2026. And then next, we have engineering project deposits. They are not fees and will not be a revenue to the district. Those are just the project deposits. And if the customer's project will be under that deposit, we will refund the difference. If customer go over the deposit, then we'll collect the additional funds for the specific project. This table has been revised compared to what we presented to you earlier this month. We did decrease the amount from the previously presented to the board as per board's direction and request. So it reflects the smoother increase to our customers rather than the big jump in the
I
increase.
appreciate your clarity because I now understand that it's whatever they spend, what they
Exactly.
get. Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter that it's 1,400. It's just your deposit and
Correct.
Yeah.
Just deposit for the project, and we'll provide you with the detailed breakdown by line item, what
And
the
then
deposit and
reimburse them
spend, and then the
together.
reimburse the
very
funds.
good. Thank you.
Perfect. Next and last one is the pumping zone variable charges. They will go in effect on July 1, 2026, and they're in line with electricity usage. And those will affect only customers who live specifically in those pumping zones or higher elevations. And we will spend extra electricity on pumping water up the hill.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I
So it
feel like,
depends on
well,
the
because. I
Rainbow
just-
Heights.
But I'm not, yeah.
Yeah, it's different from the district numbering by naming of the zones. Those increases are in line with Prop 218 and they're below the maximum allowed amount. So this is the proposed. Right? Options for the board is option 1 and recommended by the staff is to adopt the ordinance approving revised service fees, which will ensure the financial alignment with actual service delivery costs. That's all. Any questions?
Thank you, Constantine.
Yes.
Before taking public comment, does the board have any clarifying questions?
I do. Me too.
Um,
As I mentioned in the last meeting, I would really like to see sometime to have those stickers put on the fire hydrants that, you know, whatever our code or whatever, you know, to say that there's ramifications. I just think in a way it covers our butt.
Yeah.
That's warning signs to say we're coming after you if you take our water.
Something, I mean, I'm sure. you
Subject to
guys-
penalty, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like the littering sign
Yeah.
kind of things.
This
Yeah.
is something I already discussed with Robert Gutierrez and work with operations. The guys will go around whenever they see the fire hydrant, they'll put a sticker on it. We'll have something on our website to let customers know. And I saw neighbor water districts, they also post notification to customers. If you see the water theft, just call the number.
Yeah.
Let us know that this is happening.
Director Rubin?
Does the government code prescribe those fee categories? And does the government code also prescribe the fact that they be given first and second, third escalating charges? Is that something, or is it just that the government code allows us to set fines, or does it actually prescribe
Read the
what
amount.
we're proposing?
Up
Could be
to
legal
these-
question, but
Okay,
so, yeah,
And it's a new,
it does prescribe the
in the government. code.
Yes.
first,
Okay.
third.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, and it also prescribes that they're escalating fees for
Yes,
first, second, and third. So we're at the maximum that the government code would allow.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So go back to those stickers, then it wouldn't be our policy. This is a government code. Would you be using that, right? Is that-
it is, I mean, we have discretion to go anywhere from 0 up to these, but yes. But it is per the government code.
Oh, good.
I have no further questions.
Anybody else have any questions? At this time, the floor is open for comments from the public. All persons attending the meeting on site and remotely may indicate their wish to speak now. When called upon, please state your name for the record and keep your comments to 3 minutes in length. Do we have any requests for public comment?
We have not requested them online.
Are there any written materials or comments that have been submitted or that anyone wishes to submit without speaking?
None have been submitted.
With no remaining requests for clarification or comment, I will now close the public hearing. The matters are now before the board for discussion and consideration. Is there any additional discussion or consideration relative to these issues?
None for me.
If not, I move that we adopt ordinance number 2609, updating existing service fees and the adoption of new fees, including charges related to service requests and delinquencies.
Second.
Seconded by Director Irvine. Roll call vote, please.
Director Mack,
Aye.
Director Townsend Smith,
Aye.
Director Hoffman,
I,
Director Irvine.
Aye.
Director Hamilton,
Aye. The motion passes 5-0. I now move to adopt ordinance 2610, establishing administrative fines for water theft and unauthorized use of district water facilities pursuant to Senate Bill 394 and authorizing amendment to section 8.19.010 of the Administrative Code. Do I have a second? Seconded by Director Irvine. Roll call vote, please.
Director Mack,
Aye.
Director Townsend Smith,
Aye.
Director Hoffman,
Aye.
Director Irvine,
Aye.
Director Hamilton,
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 8, consent calendar. Consent calendar items are expected to be routine and non-controversial, to be acted upon by the board and at one time without discussion. If any board member, staff member, or interested person requests that an item be removed from the calendar, it shall be removed so it may be acted upon separately. Before us are the approval of the May 26, 2026 regular Board of Directors meeting and the June 9th, 2026 special board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion? So moved.
Second.
We would need a motion? We don't need a motion on this consent calendar, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Motion second. Yep.
Okay, it was moved by Director Mack, seconded by Director Hoffman.
Mm-hmm.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Action items. Discuss and consider the adoption of a resolution establishing job classifications and monthly pay ranges for district employees and for the general manager effective July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. This is resolution number 26-10. In compliance with Government Code Section 54953, subsection C, subsection 3, I'm providing an oral summary of the recommended compensation changes under the agenda item 9A for our department heads. This action updates the pay grades for all exempt positions to reflect a 3.8% adjustment alongside an administrative 1.5% cost of living base pay adjustment. The new monthly salary ranges being approved for department heads are as follows. Pay grade X-9, the biweekly pay range shall increase to a minimum of $7,141.33 and a maximum of $9,997.66 for the engineering and capital improvement program manager, the finance manager / CFO, and the operation manager / COO. Pay grade X-8, the biweekly pay range shall increase to a minimum of $6,492.11 and a maximum of $9,088.96 for administrative services manager and an information technology manager. No changes are being made to the benefits of these positions. This concludes the oral report required before the board of directors, before the board's final vote.
So this is our annual update of the pay grade adjustments in order to keep up with changing market rates and in accordance with the MOUs that have been previously approved by the board. So the MOUs are different for the exempt group and the non-exempt groups. So for the exempt group, it's the 12-month change in CPI for San Diego County, most recently published as of this meeting, which was published on June 10th. So they're moving by 3.8%. The non-exempt groups is the higher of either the San Diego or Riverside County CPUs 12-month change, most recently published as of the end of April. So that was the data that was published as of April 10th, and that is a 3.2% adjustment to the pay schedules. And the exempt, so that's the minimums and maximums of the pay grades are moving with this resolution. And but the base pay changes are different than the movement of the pay grades. So the exempt base pay COLA is 1.5%, and there is a maximum of 3% for the hourlies. That's what their base pay adjustment will be as of July 1st. And also adds 3 new classifications to the pay grade schedule that more accurately represent duties currently performed, but are at the same pay grade, and there is no change to budgeted headcount or the salary budgets for those positions.
Any questions? Is there a motion? I move to approve the pay grade changes as published. Moved by Director Hamilton, seconded by Director Townsend Smith. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries 5-0. Item number 9B, consider adoption of an ordinance authorizing amendment to the administrative code, section 5.05.050.05, engineering records retention policy, district-wide. This will be ordinance 26-11.
Perfect, thank you. The last time this section of the admin code was updated was back in 2018. So staff took a fresh look at it. Teresa and I have been down in our warehouse going through some old records, and based on the current records retention schedule, we are forced to keep them. And they are completely obsolete, but we can't do it. So staff took a look at the records retention schedule. We also looked at our neighboring agencies and some industry standards and brought those up to date. A lot of software updates have been done over the last 8 years of where we're storing it. So engineering has segued all of its files to SharePoint on Microsoft, and then have Laserfish, we're getting Laserfish, implementing it, so everything will migrate over there. So all of the engineering documents will now be electronically stored in 2 places. So if we get a public records request, we only have 2 places to look. I met with IT about 2 weeks ago and they asked, where do you look when we get these? We look in about 10 to 12 places currently, and it could be digital and electronically. So we gave the board a red line change of all the changes. It's both where it's stored and the term that it's stored for. And then you have a clean copy as well. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Director Irvine moves approval of the new retention plans. Director Hamilton seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries 5-0.
Ordinance.
I'll be happy to do roll call.
Oh, sorry, it is a roll call vote. Thank you. It's
Director Mack,
Aye.
Director Townsend Smith,
Aye.
Director Hoffman,
Aye.
Director Irvine,
Aye.
Director Hamilton.
aye. The motion still carries 5-0.
Yeah.
Item 9C, consider approval of an increase of $325,000, $325,000. Yeah, okay, sorry, brain fart. To the fiscal year 26-27 valve replacement budget funded through the sale of valves to the Havens Development Project.
Okay. So, everybody knows about the Havens project. Started off as a Polo project, then Bonzo Oaks, and now it's the Havens. It's off of Grove Canyon area. They approached the district last year and asked if we had any plug valves, which are high pressure valves. So we have different classes of valves depending on the pressure of pipe and different applications for valves. But these are called plug valves and they're used in high pressure situations. The lead time is about 1.5 years from India. And we actually had an inventory of them. So we said, we do have the valves that you need to keep your project going. However, this is what it's going to cost, our cost, plus there's a markup on that. And we'll be happy to sell them to you. In addition, there was a couple pressure regulating stations that they needed that we also had. So it worked out really good on our end. We were able to sell them those valves, and as a result, and the board memo is pretty detailed in this, but as a result, we had we netted about $686,000 from that sale. So it worked out really good for us. However, we used some of that money to restock our inventory. Okay, so we didn't, and when we do these things, we don't give them everything we got. But we give them what we can afford to give them and then hold back for ourselves for emergencies or whatever. So we restocked for about 62,000. It cost us just some of the critical valves that we needed. About 49,000 will be owed in sales tax, and 250,000 of this total is going to be placed in restricted reserves from the sale of the two pressure reducing stations. A little bit of math, but essentially what it comes down to is we have $325,000 remaining from the sale and all these disbursements, for lack of a better term. What we're asking is to add that to our valve CIP project. The board approved in the budget 500,000. We want to add about 325,000. We looked at how many valves we replaced to date since last July, and we've done about 20 valves without really trying. There's just stuff that we've run across. So the other day we had a leaky hydrant. We need to replace the T that was leaking. There's a valve right there. Took advantage of that, replaced the valve at the same time. So it's things like that that weren't purposefully looked into. And just to give you a concept of the cost of these things, a 20-inch T with three 20-inch valves, high pressure valves, costs about $100,000. So that's one excavation to install a T and three valves. And that would be the all-in cost, the paving, traffic control, and ours to do the work. So we look at that number and we think, wow, 800,000 is a lot of money. On one job, I can use 100,000. It goes really quick.
I've learned that's not that much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
In construction.
Yeah.
I came in thinking, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and valves are a critical part of our infrastructure. We need to replace valves or when we do the shutdowns to replace pipelines. It lessens the impact to customers when we have main breaks, if we can isolate a smaller area instead of backing up and going farther out. So it's a big benefit, and it's really, we're going to jumpstart this. We actually have, I think, 8 projects lined up that we already started purchasing the valves for from this current fiscal year's budget. So we're already purchasing valves and lining up these shutdowns to come. That's how fast we're moving on. So we're getting there. But so what we're asking, option 1, utilize the proceeds from the valve sales, increase the CIP budget for valve replacement from 500,000 to 825, allowing the purchase of additional equipment and supplies for CIP replacement. We anticipate replacing 30 to 40 valves this next fiscal year. That's option 1. Option 2 is do not approve the reallocation and place the funds in restricted reserves for future use in district CIP project. And with that, I'm open to any questions. Yes, sir.
So are these valves that you want to potentially purchase, are these the ones you're saying we get from India and it takes a year and a half to get?
No.
No.
So we have found another valve that's called a double offset butterfly. That's less expensive, but works just as well with the high pressure. And we did a little test. We installed a new T at the entrance to the Havens several years ago with those valves, and it seemed to be working out pretty good. Those plug valves were originally made for the oil and gas industry, for the high pressures that they work under. The district has just been continuing to use them. These double offset butterflies are what the water authority uses. Jake and I were talking about that. They use them up at Rancho. So a lot less cost. They come out of Korea, but they've got about a 6-month lead time, which is compared to a year and a half, quite a bit better.
We don't have any domestic manufacturer.
So not
No.
for those type of valves. If we do like a gate valve, like let's just say an 8-inch gate valve that can handle up to 150 PSI or 200 PSI, plenty of domestic. But it's these specialized high pressure valves that are the issue. Or if we just want a regular butterfly valve, and they're almost on the shelves at any of the distributors.
They're the only manufacturers that.
Yeah.
Can buy.
Yeah.
Got it.
Supply and demand. You answered my question about, are the butterfly valves more reliable than the plug valves? So,
About the same reliability, but a lot less maintenance. So with the plug valves, we actually have a grease tube that comes up out of the ground, but you have to inject grease in there and then exercise the valve to get that grease going. The double offsets, you don't have to do that. A lot smaller, a lot less weight.
Yep.
Easier to work with.
So can you, for example, these plug valves that there were somewhere out and they went bad, you don't have to replace it with another plug valve, you'll be able to use the butterfly valve?
We can do yes, we can do the double offset butterflies, or sometimes it's the gears that are in the valve and we can get in there and we call it welding stops. So there's some things we can do to keep them going, but generally we're replacing them with the double offsets. Yeah. And this whole doesn't, we're focusing on double offsets, but this includes all the low pressure valves that we would need in a little residential neighborhood. or whatnot. It's all the valves that we use in the distribution system.
So basically, you're asking us to increase your CIP budget by 325,000
Correct. And
for
So-
valves.
for valves with no impact on rates, right? And we're not impacting, what's the term I'm looking for, Jake? We're not impacting rates.
It's not a cost to because it's a sell.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not an added cost to
Right.
the district.
Yeah.
The ratepayer.
No added cost.
And we thought it was a very creative way to jumpstart our CIP replacements, you know,
Yeah.
getting that infrastructure,
Yep.
starting, you know, the buried stuff, replacements kind of jump started.
Any other questions or discussion? Do I have a motion for option one? Moved by Director Townsend Smith for option one, seconded by Director Hoffman. All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
Consider extension of contracts with Fernandez, Jensen, and Kimmelshoe. JFK, FJK. For state representation and the RBW group, RBW for federal representation.
Yes, so this is related to our mutual services agreement, Fallbrook, Rainbow Valley Center, and UEMA, which was part of that original mutual service agreement. One of the first things we did was an RFP for federal and state lobbyists. And what we found was, we got, some proposals, FJK and RBW were two of the firms that proposed. And really what we found was we were paying about half of what we would have going alone, right? So everybody, with everybody kind of combining. We only executed that contract for 1 year, wanted to make sure all the parties play well together. We all actually are looking at the same things. We all felt that we have so much in common, right? Valley Center and Fallbrook and ourselves, that it seemed like we certainly were chasing the same funds and the same programs and kind of aligned on a lot of the legislative issues that kind of affect our districts that, in the same way. I think what we found through the first year is that's absolutely true. We've got a couple of, good successes. I mean, obviously our representation keeps us informed and really lobbies on our behalf on a lot of different issues that impact the district. One of the primary things, though, is obviously going after funding. We do have 1.4 million in appropriations through the Fed that just actually got passed by the Appropriations Committee. So earmarked for the water side is earmarked for Rainbow. The wastewater side is earmarked for Valley Center, but obviously as a mutual service agreement, we share those funds. So not a huge pot of money. It's been a little bit of a difficult grant environment over the last year. But I think we've got some really good inroads on some additional programs too. I was actually going to go over some of the grant highlights in my GM comments, but I think it's been a really productive relationship. I think the value we get out of it has been really good. The one change, we'd like to extend the contract for 2 years. So going from 1, so an additional 2 years, so total of 3, but 2 years from now, I guess. One of the changes, though, UEMA is deciding not to continue to participate. They've got some financial headwinds that they're dealing with. They were contributing 10% of the, Fallbrook, Rainbow, and Valley Center were all doing 30%. They were doing the remaining 10%. They're a very small district. And so we decided we would each pick up the 3.33333%, between us and Fallbrook. So it increases our cost. I think it's about 10,000 a year, or less than that, 6,000 a year. But obviously, still great value to get both federal and state representation. It's very high quality representation that we're getting. So anyways, that's the proposal that's in front of you to extend the contract for 2 more years. And
Fixed cost. Why?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Just cheaper to do it that way.
yeah,
Okay.
it is a fixed cost, just cheaper because we're sharing it, right? They,
No, but I
Yeah.
meant to extend it, not doing it year to year, but doing it for 3.
yeah, and no cost increase.
That's
Right.
what I meant.
Yes. So, yeah, so we're recommending approval for the 2 years, and at the end of that, we'll see if we want to continue or not.
And if Fallbrook or Valley Center do not approve?
Yeah, we'd probably have to come back to you because then you'd have a pretty significant, I don't
There's a-
foresee that being an issue. I think actually Fallbrook might have took it yesterday. So I think their board meetings are usually on Mondays.
Yeah,
Oh, it's next week? Oh, okay. So Fallbrook will take it up next week. We'll know soon if that's the
Okay.
case. Yeah,
so it comes back
Pending-
to us if the numbers change.
correct. Pending approval by the other 2 agencies.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
I'll second.
Moved by Director Irvine, seconded by Director Mack for approving the extension to the contracts to Fernandez, Jensen, and Kimmelshoe and the RBW Group. All those in favor?
Well, providing those other districts approve it as
Approve.
well.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's moving
The
to,
numbers change,
it comes back.
right?
Did you get that?
Under the condition. Yes, thank you.
The motion before the board is to approve the contracts as represented with the proviso that if the numbers change, it comes back to the board for reapproval.
Move approval.
Okay. Second, and Director Mack seconds it still, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Item number 9E, consider approval of Tyler Technologies as the district's preferred enterprise resource ERP replacement solution.
Yes.
I'll start this one. So typically, ERP systems have 5 to 7 year lifespan. And just to have an effective system that, the district utilizes to perform all the functionalities. That includes our financial systems, our asset management systems, and our billing utility systems. The district's current systems has been in place since 2019, so it's due for replacement. We've been working to evaluate multiple vendors. We're going to show you some of the solutions that we found. FPUD is currently implementing an ERP solution right now as we speak, so they're replacing theirs as well. The solutions that we're going to be showing are modern solutions that make it easier, faster to perform all of the functionalities for staff here. The district, the multiple vendors that the district evaluated we're going to show you the one that we are recommending, the staff is recommending. Constantine will get into the financials, but I will go ahead and go over more the technical side of that. So just as an introduction, the staff is recommending Tyler, and we have Collins here from Tyler in case at the end of the presentation, if you have any questions you'd like to ask him. But some of the reasons that we've chosen Tyler was they're a single vendor, allows the district to manage one vendor only with contract support and just accountability really across all of the different softwares, divisions of that software that there is. They have a lot of expertise in the public sector where a lot of the vendors that we've used, including the ones that we're currently using, just have general financial software or general asset management software. Tyler's more directed towards public sector. Innovation was one of the things that we also liked. Tyler continues to invest in a lot of the newer technologies like AI and workflow systems. And that will allow the district to benefit a lot from those capabilities and technologies. They're an all-in-one solution, so instead of having multiple solutions like the current like what the district currently has, including that we have our asset management as one software, our billing as one software, and our financials as one software, and then having staff pull the data from each and try to feed it into others. With Tyler's solution, all systems talk to each other directly. They also have support and training programs. They have Tyler University, which provides training for our staff. If there's something that they don't understand, they will be able to go to that system and learn about that specific module in their software, as well as they have an active community that users share their troubleshooting with it. And then we have a dedicated implementation support team, which Tyler has provided us from A to Z, how this will be implemented, timelines, and so on. Productivity, a lot of the system is automated from receiving an invoice to getting imported into the system and to do all of that, as well as workflows that we can put in to the system to allow us to do that, which allows us to save a lot of time in billing and procurement and reporting of these systems. So some of the data migration and system integrations points that we would like to show you is that with financials, Tyler will be migrating approximately 5 years of budget information. Utility billing will be able to migrate 5 years of consumption history, 5 years of meter inventory, and 5 years of AR balances. And asset management will be able to import 5 years of asset history. This is all important to us when we are moving from one system to a newer system, that we get to keep our historical data so that we don't have to refer back to older systems. Being that our older systems are in the cloud, that gives us a very limited opportunity to get that information in-house. One of the things that I wanted to touch about, I talked about innovation, is their AI and analytics. So they have advanced task automation, the documents being processed into the system as they're received. They have fraud detection and revenue recovery modules, as well as a resident AI assistant module. They also provided us with a roadmap all the way to, I believe, 2027. It might be 2028, actually, where they're showing us all of the newer AI modules that they will be providing in the system. They allow for a lot of integrations with their system. GIS and ADP are two of the ones that we are planning to integrate with the Tyler system. But we've had many discussions about that and their capabilities, and it seems to be very straightforward to do a lot of this. So try to make it really quick. So if you don't have any technical questions for me, I'll hand it off to Constantine, which will tell you about.
This thing's just coming in my mind right now about talking to, well, we always have a person on the other end of the phone. If a
He's right here.
customer calls,
Yes, we have a dedicated support.
no, I don't, well, I do mean you too.
But she means customer.
I mean,
Oh.
our customers, our little district, will we always have a human?
Until we make a change. I mean, that's what we do right now. You know, obviously there's other things you can do, but you know, yeah, until the board or,
I
you know, we
personally
have
would
a,
like to know about that before it happens.
yes,
Yeah.
of
Well, you
course,
think you
of
will.
course.
You're asking whether we go to a fully automated
Right.
support system?
Oh, well, the resident AI, if I can touch a little bit about that, that is just to answer some brief questions.
No, I get that, but I mean, if they call on the phone, it won't be,
Yes.
We don't have
"Hi,
any,
how can I help you?"
So
Yeah.
far, all customer calls are answered in the morning by our customer service representative. After hours, we have a call answering system
I get
that we have a live person that will answer the calls and then forward it to our standby personnel, which will follow up.
but that won't always be the case possibly.
Well, we'll certainly let you
Don't
know
know.
if anything's
I
gonna
want to
change.
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Relative to, if you will, data retention, how far back does our current system go?
Our current system goes back all the way to 2016 on our billing side. On our asset management side,
So roughly 10 years.
yes, yes.
Okay.
And we would still have that amount of information because I make sure that we have local backups of it. That's gonna help in the migration. But moving forward, we would.
We'll only keep 5 years online. Will that be a rolling 5 years, or will it be just 5 years initially and then 6, 7, 8, 9?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to go back and recover 5 years worth of data
Yes, and that's
Okay.
just to help our
for
customers.
integration purposes.
It's just to help our customer service representatives provide that data to our
Sure.
customers as quickly as
And
possible.
that's probably sufficient, but I was curious about the history. If we needed to go back and
Oh,
get
yeah,
it, we're
we
not
can
losing.
go all the way back to
Okay,
2016.
we can go back out in the trailers and pull the sheets and look at.
No, in a data. I would not let them do that.
Hopefully you scanned it and OCR'd it.
Yeah.
Any other questions or discussion?
Have a
Oh, sorry.
If you're interested.
Yeah, the important part.
Real quick. Finance approves this purchase actually, so it looks like a savings to the district. We are able to really negotiate a great deal, and Tyler was working well with us on negotiations, come down on the cost. So our annual cost, we will be locked in for 5 years and $128,000 per year for all the 3 modules. Currently, if we combine all 3 separate contracts that we're paying 3 modules, we're paying about $300,000 per year. Initially, we paid lower, but they've been just increasing cost. And then I estimated we'll save about actually 1.2 million in the next 5 years, just by being locked in. And then we negotiated that second 5 years, they will also limit and increase, and they will also locked in for a second 5-year contract with Tyler. So financially, it's all the cost savings to the district. We'll pay one-time implementation cost of $350,000, but even with all the savings, we still will see savings with implementation cost. This implementation timeline is approximately 18 months, so this implementation cost can be split amongst the implementation period. And we already talked about 5 years of old data, historical that will be included, implementation hours in the contract included 1,212 hours was included in that cost. There's also integration with Amazon Web Services, which was negotiated at no cost to us. So we got a nice discount on that. They will also help us to integrate with ADP, our current payroll system, and with our current GIS system. Those systems are not going away, but Tyler is really excellent at integrating with them. We also researched the market and the customers of Tyler, and it's actually a lot of water districts, really great. Some of our neighbors, FPOD, implementing Tyler. So I talked to the CFO. He's very excited that Rainbow is deciding to go with Tyler as well. So we'll be all in a similar system. It will be easier to run reports together. All will be in the same format, and we can learn and help each other. So, right. And to move to recommendations, staff recommends board to approve Tyler Technologies as the district's new ERP and move on with implementation. The cost has been already incorporated in the budget and in the CIP as well. So today we're just deciding who will be actually our ERP.
Give the GM authorization to sign the contract, right?
Yeah.
Any questions or discussion?
I have a question. When we're going from the old system to the new, do you have to give advance warning to the old system that we're leaving them?
Yeah, I guess we will.
We do, yes. We do. There's, I believe, I'll have to go back and check, but we are far away from that. We renew every year, and I think we have to give, don't want to give you the incorrect number, but it's somewhere around 60, 90 days Yep, like about 3 months before we move.
There's generally a notice of termination clause in the contract.
So
We just don't.
we
know
may,
what it is.
we may not be implementing Tyler right away till we're able to leave, right? Or are you just gonna
No.
leave and just not use their system?
Well, what we would want to do is we would want to start implementing Tyler as soon as possible. That way we have the new system up and running before we leave them. Constantine and I,
Right now. How long?
It,
is the time?
it's year over year and it every February
Okay.
renews.
So we're gonna start implementing now with
Mhm.
Tyler.
yes.
Before we, and
Exactly. And Constantine and I were going to discuss this, but like we might want to first start with the asset management, and then in February, we would let that go completely, and then we would go on to the next module. Because they're three different softwares, we deal with them as three different companies,
Okay.
and we would just drop one after the other, and then that number would start to decrease.
What's your anticipation of when we might get
Be
rid of all
completely
three?
open.
We're anticipating an 18-month timeline, but there's February 20, there's, yeah.
Okay.
February 28th. Let's be like 1,200 hours of implementation time. So it's about what, 6-7 weeks.
So that's actually a split, I believe 70 on the district side and 30% on Tyler's side. So the district staff is going to be doing a lot of implementation.
should we hire that person? Are we taking someone from our already existing staff?
Yes.
Okay. No, there was some talk about hiring someone who I thought.
Yeah, some temporary
We'll
backfill to
have-
fill some of the day-to-day stuff while our staff
Mhm.
kind of contribute more to that.
And that was in the budget.
Yes.
Well, good job. I wish you had done it sooner.
Like in February?
No, like
Yeah.
however
5
many
years
years
ago.
ago, we could have done it, saved the money. So glad we're doing it now. So good job on that. Wish we'd done it sooner. It's okay, better late than never.
Any further discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Move approval of option 1.
I'll second.
Moved by Director Irvine for option 1, seconded by Director Mack. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Item 9F. Review and discuss board compensation policy, section 2.03.010, remuneration and reimbursement.
Yes, and I apologize for missing our initial discussion on this, but me and Teresa had worked on kind of putting together some information on the board. It's been a long time since anything's been done on compensation for the board. And I think we actually got some dates in there, but some of them date all the way back to the 90s. And I'll just give kind of our, a few observations on kind of what we found. The $150 a day per meeting is not way out of whack. I mean, it seems to be in there. There are some districts that pay higher. Fallbrook's about the same. They're right in that 150 mark. Some others. The one kind of outlier for Rainbow is the 6 meetings per month. That is pretty unique to us. Almost across the board, every district allows up to 10. That's kind of the legal statute is a maximum of 10 meetings per month that are compensable. So again, it's been a policy of Rainbow's for quite some time. But yeah, kind of differs from most agencies. Most agencies max out at 10. The other thing we looked at, and
Water agencies, correct?
yes, yeah, water districts, correct, water districts. The other part was, and there was quite a bit of discussion about the conferences, training, those kind of things. And we've done a lot over the last couple of years, changes to that policy that really actually, we widened the breadth of available organizations and that we're involved with, right? Urban Water and Southern California Water Coalition and some local stuff too, as far as like the chambers and, things, a Farm Bureau, things that we were involved in, but not heavily involved in, right? Not a lot of representation showing up. And really, it was kind of intentional that we would be more involved, right? Attending these local meetings and things. I find a lot of value in it. And I think just as a district, that was the direction we were kind of heading. What we found on, looking around, there didn't seem to be a real, like, oh man, a lot of agencies handle conference and training limitations in a certain way, right? That's kind of all over the map. But it seemed to be, and the way we've always done it is, here's the list of available. Anything beyond that, you've got to request it, right? A board member, staff, or whoever it is has to request it and get approval. And so that's kind of how we've handled it. The other thing we've done is we usually budget. We put in the budget for the board. We average about 2 conferences per board member. If you look at kind of the overall, what's in the board packet, kind of we summarize I think it's the last 4 years. It all kind of seems to balance out at about there. So the budget's kind of been balanced. Not to say, at some point you could get, someone who wants to do every conference that's available. We haven't had that. But you can see the numbers have been pretty steady. I mean, we fall between about $35,000 and $45,000 a year, and this is all 5 board members, and that's per diems, both for board meetings and committee meetings and other outside events, and also the training. It hasn't seemed to got a lot bigger, even though we have widened the scope of agent or affiliations that will compensate for. So that's kind of where we sit. Again, we haven't changed anything in quite some time. It did seem like the only real outlier for the district compared to other water districts was that 6 versus 10 meetings. But, I think the board would be well within their, even to raise the stipend. I mean, that hasn't been done in, what was it, 20 years or so? It hadn't been touched. So anyways, it really up to the board's discretion. The process from here would be, we've proposed some changes, admin code changes in there. If we wanted to go from 6, there was some talk of, maybe we'll go to 8 meetings, max of 8 rather than going all the way to 10. So we proposed some of that in here. But if we want to do something, make a definitive change, it actually has to be a public hearing, correct? So we'd have to come back, do a public hearing, approve it all. I think it would be nice though, at least just from my perspective, to kind of settle on kind of where we want to land, and then we can kind of make it an annual event, check in on the compensation and check in on those things. But generally, if we can come to grips on how many meetings we want and those kind of things, I think give us a good baseline to kind of work from, and then maybe every budget season kind of come back and go, hey, we want to make any changes to, it's at 150, is it 160? You're actually allowed 5% per year from the time you makes a determination. So back when 20 some odd years ago, it was $150. You could actually move up 5% per year. We didn't do that calculation because it'd be something you wouldn't want to even consider. But that is just the rules on it. So, yeah.
Question for you. You would know, or even Teresa would know, over the years, the conferences to go, not so much the room, but to attend the conference like CSD or Aqua, how are they kind of staying? They go up 5% or 10% a year. I mean, how does
The
that work?
expenses would cost
no,
to
when
attend them, what?
Like registration and all that.
So
They
it's cost to
do.
attend.
Yeah, they definitely have clicked them up over the years. I think they kind of tend to go with the market too, whether it's 5% or, something like that. But they certainly have gone up over the years. I remember, Aqua, we used to pay $600 or $700, and now it's more like $800 or $900, so for the last 5-7 years, it's definitely gone up.
So is that kind of, my point being is, or get to the point is, the cost of whatever their percentage is, when you do your budget for that, you kind of do the cost of what it could be going up to. Is that kind of what you're doing?
Yeah, we typically just do
Estimate.
like an average cost of the conferences. Usually they're, 3,000, somewhere in that range. If you're, if it's a multi-day conference and there is travel, hotel, usually they do get a pretty good block rate on hotels. So the hotel rates are usually better than if you were just going to travel on your own.
$300 a
But
night.
you're right. But you're right. But yeah, so that's usually what we do. We'll take a look, but usually we'll take a look at last year's costs and go, okay, average per conference, okay, we're gonna budget for 10 between, between the group. And usually it works out. Somebody goes to 3, somebody
No,
only
but-
goes to 1 year.
But do you like add 2 or 3% from the previous budget? That's what, I guess that's what I'm trying to get.
We have the last couple of years, but reality is that we kind of fell into the, the boards kind of fell into the same range, within $10,000 for the entire year, either way. So, but we do, yes, we'll tick that up along with, kind of annual inflation.
Except for 2023, everything comes in around 37,000. 35, 37, 30.
Yeah, and this year we have 1 more month to go. So this is only through May. So that will be a little bit higher, but that's why I said between 35, 45,000 is kind of in the where it tends to fall.
So do we do suggestions on per diem rates and such, and amount of meetings per month?
I think that would be helpful. Yeah, any
Some
suggestions?
guidance.
Yeah, anything we can kind of come to consensus on, I think would be great, and we can bring it back.
Well, I have my thoughts, if you're interested, but with inflation and fuel costs and all that, I think board members should be paid like 200 a meeting. And I think we should go in the middle and have maybe a max of 8 meetings per month instead of 6.
I don't understand your question about food, adding fuel cost to per diem because you can claim mileage.
Coming, oh, yeah, but not for meetings and such.
Yeah,
No,
Well, I don't do
not
that.
coming here.
no, and not coming here, but a lot of the extra meetings we've added all required. Whether it's your personal car or whether it's airline travel.
I don't know if we need to jump to that. I'm fine with 150, but if you want to start putting like the little 5% in there, cause that's, and then just start doing
somewhere.
it now. And so you get your $7 more a year or whatever.
I do have one comment that I've seen. The numbers that we have, Therese, that you say, I guess, is that a California number? Like we get like $68 for the day?
It's an IRS tax.
Is that what it is? So that's the
Mhm.
max? Because when we go to these conferences, I mean, you can't get nothing for that. I
You
mean,
go down to the bar to get a hamburger at $30, I know.
yeah, that's what's
My
really,
pizza.
it's kind of shocking that the $68 or whatever it is works if you don't.
That's a per diem, right?
It's a IRS per diem, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of like, oh, that's fine if you don't have lunch or breakfast, and then you can use it for dinner, but
But
the things where we go is.
a lot of the conferences, breakfast and lunch are provided as part of the conference. So you're only
Yes.
really looking at one full day.
Yeah.
I'll agree to that, but those breakfasts are pretty bad.
So,
Now-
so
About
you're
the
gonna pay,
quality.
we're paying for breakfast twice. You pay it as part of your conference fee and then because you don't like it, you wanna go have your own personal.
Well,
breakfast.
no, I mean, the powdered eggs and the bacon, you don't really know if it's bacon. I mean, it's,
It is what it is. Ugh,
yeah,
No.
Mac, you
Eat the
gotta-
fruit.
yeah, basically.
I'm okay with 150 because we are increasing the number of potential opportunities for participation. I'd probably say I'd be comfortable with 8 meetings a month.
I'm fine with
I
eight.
don't think, I think the facts kind of say, other than for a new person coming on board, a new board member, where there's a lot more training in the first year, that really the 6 meetings a month are probably adequate. You know, if you take training as a special consideration since it's mandatory, and don't count it as part of the.
Well, if you're gonna
Or-
do the
yeah.
per diem though, it's gotta be a day. It's gotta be one. Yeah.
What about
Yeah,
the
but you
online
could make,
We do.
could you in the admin code separate out training and that per diem, it still has to come in under the 10. Cause
Yeah.
that's state law.
Right.
Are we supposed to get reimbursed for online training? Cause I've never put in for it. But it does take a good
I
chunk of
did, it
your,
was 2.5
time.
hours long.
I know. And I've never
It's
asked for
mandatory.
reimbursement, but I think we should get a little bit more with that because we are the board and we represent.
Well, and it's,
Excellent.
it's mandatory too. I mean, you're
you know.
fulfilling state law requirement to take that training. Yeah.
So probably two separate issues here. We have per diem payments that probably should be updated a bit. And then number of meetings per month.
Correct.
So
You're all quiet.
I don't know why you have to put in per diem, like what you're not, the per diem requirements. I put the 150 in for that mandatory online training because you wanted me to get it, so I'm gonna go do it.
Yeah.
So you, if they're not saying you can't do that. You just
yeah,
put
I
in
just
for it.
didn't put in.
Yeah,
but
but
my-
Therese will tell you when you can.
The one thing we did too is kind of proposed red lines in there. We did address some of the kind of the odd requirements that were in there, and I know that was
Yeah.
talked about. You know, maximum of two board
Two
meetings. Well,
board
not
meetings,
the
it's
two
just-
board, the 2 meetings a day we can't do because that's a law. But like the max, you know, you can only meet with the general manager once, right? And it's, well, if we needed to meet twice, you know, that should be something we do. So we did kind of clean that up a little bit too.
Yeah, you took out some of the specifics, like up to two board meetings. You
Yeah.
just said board meetings.
Right.
And for the meeting with general manager, it was 1 monthly per person. It just now reads meeting with general manager.
And if we start having more than 2 board
That would be
meetings a month, you
appropriate.
deserve to get paid. I apologize in advance and
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I do on the Chamber of Commerce, I do kind of question whether the Bonzel Chamber of Commerce is really a thing.
I've only gone like once, like, yeah. Well, but he asked me to go
Yeah, I know,
It's your fault.
but you don't know until you go and.
and it's,
that's-
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll go.
and certainly those are kind of discretionary. If you don't think there's value, then
If I feel like going to Backdraft that night, I guess I'm going. Feel like that. If we don't find the need for it, if it's not useful for the district, then I'm not gonna go, and I'll
Right.
just tell you, that's your thing, right?
Yep.
Just
You
like
go.
I did the
Right.
SDA.
And then part of the watershed council.
Watershed? Oh, I know.
that used to be.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing maybe pushing to 8. Compensation seems like we're kind of in the ballpark of
Keep-
where we need to be.
Keep around where. you-
Maybe we'll look at it next February.
Yeah,
That sound, and then some of these little ticky tack things, maybe we'll clean that up
Still
too.
Taking it all in.
Quite.
No, I mean, I have made my comments at the last meeting about putting guardrails on out of town travel and.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not in there, you know, if that's the desire of the board to not address it, that would be the board's decision. So.
And we didn't put anything in there. We just hadn't found any. Kind of like, oh, look at, this is a,
Stipulates.
you know, it was kind of all over the map. So the one thing we did talk about was if, you know, the way we budget now, right, we just average it out, right? 2 per board. If we wanted to codify something like that, we could, like, hey, this is how we budget. You know, maybe if we go beyond 10 conferences, out of town conferences as a whole group, maybe then that requires a request, you know, like,
I
hey,
thought we were gonna do that though, one local, 100 miles, whatever it is. One local and one out of town. I mean, we could do 2 local, but I'm saying we have the opportunity to do 1 out of town and one plane flight and 1 local.
That would,
yeah.
not that, I mean,
That doesn't.
That's.
look good.
a
no,
little
no,
different.
I mean, that's your, fine, if that's what your thoughts are on it, but I'm
Yeah.
more interested in restricting out of town travel.
How would you
lim-
restrict it more than what I said?
Mileage.
Because I don't think there should be a limit on local
Yeah.
conference. I mean, if you're driving and
Your-
you're not
your
staying in
biggest-
hotels and you're not buying dinners. and-
The biggest benefit we get is really from interacting with local organizations. Farm Bureau, Chamber of
that's-
Commerce,
yeah.
the professional societies like Rotary or Lions Club, those types of things, because those are our ratepayers that we're interacting with.
Yeah.
We get a lot of information from conferences and how other people are doing things similar to us. Regulation that's coming down the pipe that we might want to be more vocal about. That's what you get from a conference.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's how we budget. If we want to put in there like a max of 10 annually, that's what we've been kind of for out of town conferences.
Oh, yeah, but Aqua is really. 'Cause
If you
they're
want to control it from constraint budget, you can also say that no more than 2 or 3 board of directors can attend the same out of town conference.
That would, in essence, do the same thing. Correct.
But what I was saying, Aqua is really just water agencies, and so they really focus on issues on water. And CSDA is special districts, which they're kind of, yeah, it's water portion of it, but a lot of it's, yeah, it's,
Cemeteries.
Cemetery, libraries.
Parks and recreation,
yeah,
It's
mosquitoes.
yeah,
Yeah.
sector control.
So, yeah, that's, so
I don't know how you're gonna regulate this. I mean, we went to an AI CSDA, I'm gonna say a year ago. Do you remember that? You were there?
Mhm.
And we learned absolutely nothing,
There's a lot of them.
zero.
It happens.
But how do you know unless you attend? You don't know if the speaker's gonna present.
yeah, just, well, I mean,
Watch the webinars on the 2 weeks after.
the recently, I would say, the CSDA quarterly dinners, those meetings have really, maybe it's because of whoever the president is at the time or who's ever in charge of finding the speakers, but they've been pretty
Pretty soft in the last
Yeah,
last year or so.
so they haven't really been beneficial. But again, I remember years where they were phenomenal. And they actually got people out there rivaling and getting arguing with the speaker. Well, this is getting interesting.
Leave it, let's just baby step. So are we doing
Basic.
the 8 meetings?
Yeah.
I think they're pretty good
But I-
consensus around that.
For now, we'll read.
And the cleanup that you've done on, clarifying some of the things in the current admin code are fine with me as well.
And so what you're also thinking, Jake, is like then we'll revisit it a year from now, is that kind of your thought?
That's, yeah, kind of on an annual basis.
Basis.
Look at it like in February, as we're starting budget and that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
you're gonna say,
Not that
do it before the budget instead of after the budget.
It doesn't make a huge budget impact, but, as a whole, but it's just a good time to do those things. So yeah, we'll bring it back early in the year.
One clarification language I saw in there when you're talking about the general manager, you may want to say general manager or designate. You're
Oh.
you're on vacation and you're meeting with your designated general manager, it just keeps anything. from
Which
getting
could be the
confusing.
board. Okay.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Hopefully we won't have
Do you
to
always-
use Robert too many times.
Do you always designate when you leave or no?
Depends.
Depends.
It depends, yeah. But I have quite a few times.
Are we done with that?
Okay, yeah.
I think so. Yeah, we'll bring it back.
Okay. That was easy.
Agenda. Information items, capacity fee update, operations report, engineering report, administrative services report, and financial report.
We would like to, because there's a special item on there, that's
Yep.
but just information, the water and sewer capacity fees. So two years ago, when we did kind of a major update to our water and sewer capacity fees, what we kind of codified then was that every year we would just come back to the board, basically with an information item. The tracking inflation, we're tracking construction inflation, because that's those capacity fees are really intended for, added capacity, so it's construction, pipelines and those kind of things. So we track and this was in the resolution that was approved, the engineering news record, they do a construction cost index. So we just track that every year, and then in July 1, we up the capacity fees by that This year, it went up by 2.4%. So we're proposing on July 1st, the water and sewer capacity fees will raise by 2.4%. As you know, those are like developer fees, that for new connections.
But is that also linked to what we have to pay Oceanside?
No, nope, nothing to do with that. This is really just, anybody who wants to tie in, so, Ocean Breeze, Havens, per unit, they're connected to water capacity, connecting to sewer capacity. We have a fee associated with that. It tracks the construction index, inflation index.
When do we get notified what Oceanside wants to charge us? Is that a yearly thing?
Usually we beg for about 2 months.
During budget season.
And then 3 weeks,
Bill is printed.
and then 3 weeks after
After we've approved the
approve
budget.
the rates, then we get their budget. That's something different than we, We're getting better. We're getting better. We are. It's getting better. But usually actually it's during that same budget window. We have a meeting with them. We talk about the operation budget, capital. That actually did occur. So we are doing that now. We've got quarterly meetings set with them, which I think hasn't happened in the past.
Because what I would be worried about, all of a sudden, we set our rate for sewer, then all of a sudden they said, oh, we're gonna raise it 15%. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Which the last few years, it's kind of worked that way because our flow has grown, their flow has not. They've actually seen with water conservation decreasing flows. And some pretty good cost increases due to that. So it's been a little bit difficult to keep up with. It's something we're working on. Yeah.
North River Road will take care of their declining sewer rate.
Yeah, we'll start powering it through.
No, not us. I'm talking about all the homes they're building.
Oh, yeah, right. So that's it on the capacity fees. They're all listed there. There's a staff report. All the other stuff is information. If there's any questions, we have all the people here that can answer it.
Any questions? Item number 11, reports and comments. General Manager's report.
Yeah, I have a few things today. Wanted to give you an update on Line NN. The contractor's actually advancing the 42-inch diameter casing underneath Highway 76.
What?
They're advancing the casing underneath, so they're tunneling. Yeah.
You're out there 724.
Yeah. They've had a few hiccups, along the way, so it's probably going to delay the final in-service to like early August. So we're, a week or so behind it seems like, but generally though, really good progress and coordination with Bad Name.
Now, no, they haven't hit anything that's unusual.
We had a moment where the tunneling machine stopped and it was a nervous couple of moments.
It's a boulder.
But turned out it was just an issue with the tunneling machine. They made a little correction and they're back to boring right through. So so far, yeah.
How are we doing with the 76 settling? Any good to go?
Yeah. So everything's going pretty good there. Again, we had a couple few days where the machine gave them some fits, but generally on schedule.
Are they already completely through yet?
Not completely.
How far through are
Yeah. So they made it past the tape.
okay, so they're actually through the freeway.
Yeah.
That's what the income.
Right. Wow, that's good. Fast.
Yeah.
That's moving
Yeah, once
pretty
it gets
good.
going. So I think I heard early next week they would be done with the casing and then starting on the carrier pipe. Then making all the connections. We're gonna take a stick of the PVC off for they've already done some analysis, but the failure analysis, so they're gonna complete that once we have a good stick of pipe. But that can't happen until they actually make the connection where they can remove some of it. So we're still working on that piece too, but everything's going pretty well there. A couple things on the development front. We do anticipate that we're going to receive the second half of the capacity fee payments from Ocean Breeze this week. So if you recall, the first payment we got, I think that was in February, we held a special board meeting.
Yeah.
They're moving really fast and looking to issue building permits and things like that, so,
How much are we gonna get?
about 7.8 million
So that's what we got.
between water and sewer, yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty good amount of capacity fees there. Also the Havens, we approved a sewer service, or the board approved a sewer service agreement. Actually, I think it was 2 board meetings ago. But we were waiting on payment for that. They just needed to come up to the 50% level for the next 104 units, which is about 600 and some odd thousand, 620,000. They made that payment, and so
50% being construction or?
no,
sale?
50% of the sewer capacity.
Oh, okay.
So this was just, yeah, just the sewer capacity, but it was about a $620,000 payment to the district. And they made that payment, so the sewer service agreement's being routed for signatures now. I know Hayden, or Director Irvine, Director Hamilton are well aware of this, but we've been working through that CFD formation with the Havens as well, our partnership with the Bonsall Unified School District. That's all gone really smooth. There is a good team involved in that. Between the bond council and others. So we've had a couple of board meetings, approvals. We're inching towards, I think we have 1 or 2 meetings left to actually form the CFD and then be able to issue bonds at some point. Looks like in total, they're gonna issue somewhere between 20 and $25 million in bonds to fund all the infrastructure and roads and fees and all those things. I think it's gonna happen in two issuances. So we're gonna do an initial issuance and then a secondary. They also set it up to where they have a future phase that they're working on, another 84 homes that actually could be rolled underneath that CFD. So that was approved at the last meeting, but that's all gone really well. We've had a couple of 20-minute board meetings or so where we've kind of gone through all this stuff, but yeah, really good team.
Yeah, the bond authorization will be 100 million.
Yes.
Which kind of
Yeah.
sticker shock for some, but that's only because that gives us that flexibility to add additional phases to that CIP, so.
Exactly. So that's really good. Mentioned this a little.
Sticker shock, we're gonna walk in and said, you're approving $100 million bond. And what?
Mentioned this a little bit, but we're currently in the middle of another 15-day shutdown of Pipeline 4, Metropolitan's Pipeline 4. The county water authority is paying a contractor to make, they call it temporary repairs. They're doing kind of a liner. It's not a steel liner, it's a carbon fiber liner. They had some wire breaks again in section of their aqueduct, just south of us, south of Doolin Road. And so that's shut down again. So we're kind of in that mode. Again, we had a little bit of the issue, the low pressure calls and that was kind of a double whammy with the shutdown and the 14-inch line that was severed. But the reality is, and just a good reminder again, in the past, if this aqueduct was shut down, we would be doing without the southern pump stations, without the interconnects and the partnerships that we've kind of developed over the last couple of years, King Ridge Interconnect that our construction crews built. That's what we'd be doing right now. We'd be doing massive calls for water conservation on the south side. We'd probably be spending $250,000 or so in
Temporary pumps and
temporary pump stations, and this would have been 2 years in a row. So those facilities are actually paying for themselves a lot quicker than we even thought they would. Yeah, with the second shutdown. This one was really last minute. I think last year we had about a month notice. This year we got about a week. So our guys have really worked hard to kind of, do those internal things to make it work. But so far so good. And yeah, no, we don't need to do any calls for conservation. We've got plenty of water and storage and supply coming in. So kind of mostly business as usual. A couple little hiccups, but business as usual. Wanted to update you a little bit too on grant funding, some of the pursuits, since we talked about the, our federal and state lobbyists. One of the things that's coming around, and I think I've mentioned this before, so I won't, spend too much time on it, but we've really got some good some tailwinds on MWD actually integrating a crop swap like program as part of their conservation budget, their water conservation budget. There's still a couple things we're trying to work on to, really make it run like the way crop swap did. But I think we're coming to the point where, in the next few months, I think we'll probably be internally kind of rolling out some more incentives to our ag customers to fund some of those projects. So whether it's crop swap or efficiencies and things like that, they're really modeling it after the program that was developed here. So that's really good news. We're also pursuing, there's a grant opportunity out through the NRCS, National Resource Conservation Service, which is under the USDA, it's federal. But they've got a grant program. It's called the On-Farm Trials Conservation and Innovation Grant. So we're kind of packaging a crop swap type program for a submittal to them. I think the max, you can go up to, I think it's up to like, it's either 3 or 5 million. But again, the partnership, Valley Center, Fallbrook, and Ranchos involved in that one, obviously. So we're going to go after that. That's I think that's due in July. Internally, we're working on another grant through CAL FIRE for we got the brush clearing, easement maintenance and brush clearing, really for defensible space. And so they have another round of funding coming out. We're gonna submit on that. I think we're gonna submit for about 950,000, which covers about 3 years of us clearing our sites and doing all that. But really been a big help with all the fires that we've had and that kind of thing. Keeps our critical facilities protected. Other than when Chad wants to plant trees around them, I'm sure. Might have been my fault.
He's putting trees around the heli thing.
Couple other smaller things. We're submitting on a wellness grant through Aqua JPA, which we've got that the last few years. So we'll be doing that again. That's usually just a couple $1,000, but it helps fund kind of a internal wellness program. And we received a grant for some increased security monitoring, about $10,000 through Aqua JPIA. So security cameras, some advanced security monitoring and things like that. So it's going to fund all of those improvements around here. And I'd already mentioned the federal appropriations. We got about 1.4 million going through the federal side as an earmark. They call it community funded project, but it's for pipeline replacements, water pipeline replacements, and sewer lining. So rehab projects on the sewer side. So real core stuff.
Great.
Yeah.
How's the remodeling going on the building?
Oh, I was going to mention that. The building came.
That.
Okay. So yeah, they're getting close, I think. Actually, the last piece is, electrical, water, sewer is all being connected now that the building's in place. They came out the other day and put all the ramps and all that kind of stuff in. Yeah, after the meeting, if you want to walk out that way.
Is the inside done already, or they come in and do that?
It's all done. It's not furnished, and the cubicles aren't in.
Okay.
So Chad's the.
That's like very excited.
Yeah, I had my first meeting in there yesterday.
Yeah.
So the Connex box that we're renting is all of our old furniture. So we're gonna use as much of that as possible. And then there's some new furniture needed. We're getting a quad cubicle that'll go in there. We got a new conference table that can seat 12 people. Ahmed's gonna run power to that. We bought some new television monitors for the meetings, like when we do this in there. So the furniture isn't in yet because IT is cutting in new outlets where the desks are all gonna go. We're running the new fiber optic cable over there. They're trenching for sewer today. Power's already hooked up, so the AC is working. You can get a Wi-Fi signal over there. So it's coming along really well, but we anticipate having everything. The company we bought it from, we noticed some wood rots. We did like a walkthrough after you kind of buy a new car kind of a thing. We did the walkthrough and kicked the tire, so to speak. So they're going to come back out next week and do some repairs for us as well. Some screens on the windows, some wood rot, stuff like that.
There's wood rot on it already?
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's not a new building.
It's a gently used. The frame itself is like 12 years old. So yeah, it's gently used, but they're taking care of it all. And then now that it's all freshly painted, this one kind of was like, oh, that could use a little touch up. That's a rental, so they do that for us. But they need some interior carpet. So we think we'll all be moved in the week of July 6th in it and using it. And I know Ahmed and his staff everyone's excited to all be in one place and the offices won't be so cluttered. So
So big World Cup finals party and.
there we go. Yeah.
Last thing I want to say was I really appreciate everybody reaching out. You know, I was out last week. Missed the board meeting. I guess it's been 2 weeks now. Gosh, it's been 2 weeks, but I appreciate board members, staff stepping up. My son's doing really well. So yeah, just felt good to have all the, support of the team, when you're kind of going through some of that where something's taking all of your attention. So thank you to all of you. I heard from you and obviously, yeah, staff was fantastic, just kind of stepping in and taking care of everything. So
So he's looking for a new skateboard?
he can't wait to get back on.
General manager's report, have we used the heli tank anymore? Wasn't there a fire out in this area?
I thought
Last
F-Boat
week?
went in.
So the last time it was used was the Mission fire. We had those multiple fires down Mission and Highway 76. The last decent sized fire, the 10-acre fire south of Mission Avenue, northbound 15. They were pulling out of Red Mountain and Fallbrook
okay.
area.
Yeah.
That ended up being 10 acres. It burned 2 water meters, like just burned them completely. So the guys were out there yesterday replacing that little bit of infrastructure.
That was the one last Thursday?
Yeah, last Thursday. It was a vehicle fire on the side of the freeway that then jumped in the
Jumped
brush.
in.
Yeah. And it went quick. And they held it right at Sterling, so it didn't jump Sterling and then make a run. Yeah.
I brought the article from the fire before this last one. So I don't know where T will put it, but it shows, helipad, helicopter, and all that good stuff.
There are no grant fundings in that area?
Yeah.
There might be through the state. They've got a big wildfire
county?
fund.
What about county too? Discretionary funds?
You haven't heard anything there. On the state side, they were waiting on our lobbyist actually told us they're waiting on kind of the guidance of these are the things they're going to fund through that. It's all through that Prop 4, I think it was. So we're kind of waiting to see what's on that. That is what we've talked about. We actually did, there was language that we requested to put in, and this was through our lobbyist, to fund not just heli hydrants, there's a couple different styles or whatever, but to broaden it so the state funding would cover all that, as well as surrounding infrastructure. So if you need to build a pipe over to it and things like that. So yeah, we're kind of waiting to see if that actually shows up on what they're gonna fund.
Okay, thank you. Legal counsel?
Thank you, President Hamilton. I did a written report and update on a recent Court of Appeal decision involving water rates and Proposition 218. And it's a positive, very favorable decision for water agencies. It's one of the first decisions addressing the recent Senate Bill 323 that we discussed before. That was the bill sponsored by Aqua. And it both shortened the statute of limitations for bringing Proposition 218 claims to 120 days, so long as the agency includes a statement that any challenge must be initiated within 120 days when we're doing our Proposition 218 notice. And it also allows water agencies to use statutory validation actions to confirm water rates. Before, validation actions were limited to pretty specific types of cases like bond issuances and things like that, but this broadens it out for water rates specifically. And then if agencies do choose to utilize the validation procedure, any subsequent challenge that's not made in that action will be barred as a subsequent collateral attack. So here the plaintiff tried to actually challenge that. They argued that even though the rates were adopted by an ordinance and confirmed in the validation proceeding, that water rates are ongoing charges. So it's unconstitutional violation of due process, they argued, to bar subsequent implementation of the rates. And then they argued that it also violated due process because personal notice was not required in a validation action. agencies can proceed essentially by, publication in the local newspaper. You just publish it 3 times and then the world's on notice as they speak. But the court rejected all of that. So, it's an important decision in the sense that it confirms the legal and procedural safeguards that agencies have in this context, from Senate Bill 323. I think very good bill Aqua sponsored there, and it shortens the statute of limitations, increases our availability of validation actions, and the exhaustion of administrative remedies, that people, must follow before they challenge our rates once they've been adopted by the board. So pleased to report on that development. Concludes my report unless there are any questions.
Thank you very much. Board member comment, Director Mack?
Oh, yeah, I'd like to make one. When Chad and I went to that last conference, we met some other agencies and they were, oh, where's your business card? We let you, and we come to find out these 2 other agencies had these electronic business cards. And I thought you were saying you're gonna talk to Med. I think it would be well worth it. You don't need to.
Like a QR code type thing?
No, it's just like your regular business card, and you just like tap their phone, tap their watch. You don't need cards anymore. Like, oh, and it puts all that information in your phone. Like, oh, this is cool. So
I believe that.
But I mean, I'd like instead of carrying, 20, 30 business cards, if that's the new technology, sure is convenient. Just tap it. It's all on your phone.
Yes, we've actually tested them. And we've tried to print on them, so that it looks like the district's business card. The ones that we have actually have the old logo, but it's something
Yeah.
that we can do again. And
Yeah.
you would just put it with your credit cards.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like the size and the thickness of a credit card. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it.
Director Irvine?
Yeah, just quickly, I had the pleasure of joining Chad to go down and look at that line and end project right before they started the core drilling and look at that 35-foot pit? Yeah, and
You didn't get to walk the pipe?
not yet, maybe next week, but yeah, no, it was just very impressive to see the level of work, and it reminded me how lucky we were with just that one single bid we got. That it seems to be a really impressive group on that job, and just the scale of that was a kind of an eye opener for me. Kind of helps me to understand, where that $6 million plus is coming from, because it's just. What was the total bill?
It was four something.
Or something. Well, let's hope it won't end up at 6. But anyhow, significant. It's significant. And when you see what they're doing, it reminds you of the scale of the kind of work that's going on there. And I just, again, reminded of how fortunate we were to get that one bid in. And it looks like at this point, assuming Chad, things are going smooth from the standpoint that it looks like they're going to be on bid at the end of the day. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But yeah, real
That's
fascinating,
line in, yeah.
real fascinating project. So that's it.
Yeah, if possible, we can find a time that won't interrupt them. Director Smith, Townsend Smith?
I just want to say thank you to the staff and the board for all the work you did on the solar energy Optera, because I really appreciate that. I'd like to see the ball keep rolling though, and I actually know of another company where it might not cost the district anything. So I'd like to present that information, maybe next board meeting. But thank you for all the work.
Director Hoffman?
No. Nothing.
Yeah, and I have nothing either. Board report, CSDA, the only thing I have to report from that is the Southern Region District Board elections are due July 24th. I received, I don't know whether anybody else on the board received a nomination recommendation for one of the candidates.
Do you want to do it?
No, the ballot's already been set. So we're down to vote Here's the ballot. Who do you want to vote for? And
Who was it for?
Jinsper Johnson or something. I'm terrible with names.
Yeah.
I didn't know him.
I think there was 3 candidates.
Yeah,
Oh, you're not,
And the
you're not
slate.
on it.
I'm not on it.
Oh,
We have the opportunity to
Right.
vote who,
I don't know them.
on one of the
I-
candidates.
Sure, I just.
And I don't know any of the candidates, so I'm not making a recommendation. There's no requirement that we have to vote.
Hmm.
But it's due the 24th, which I think is after our next board meeting,
Is it-
24th of July.
When's our next board meeting? Oh, it is late.
It's late. Anyway. I'm recommending that we don't actually vote. Latko?
I don't have anything, too earth shattering there. Still lots of talk about the canceling of the water authority, MSR. They've shelved it for 5 years.
Do we know why?
It was,
Political.
What's the other-
municipal services review. It's basically LAFCO does a review of your agency every so often, every 3-5 years. And, how are you doing? Are you serving the public well? Are your rates fair? Blah, blah, blah.
And they've never actually done one on the water authority, and the city of San Diego, I believe, was the one that canceled it. Lobbied for the cancellation. Part of it because pure water will come into play before the MSR is reviewed again.
Yeah, well, the argument was, lots changed over the last few years, and so they felt it was out of date, and so they wanted to shelve it until all these water deals and things kind of come to fruition. I think a lot of the frustration, I think locally was, there was a piece on governance in there, and that's really what a lot of people wanted to see done. So that's kind of what's, yeah, we'll see where that goes.
EMWD?
Not a whole lot going on. They've been very helpful. I mentioned the water savings incentive program, the crop swap like program, been very helpful in helping us push that forward. They've also made a request, Director Pauly, who's now the Met rep or the Eastern rep on the Met board. He's part of the Ag and Tribal Committee, which is now a formal committee. And they actually had a meeting today. They were talking about that, the water program, the water savings program. And also, he requested a kind of a briefing on the history of the discount ag rate. And, because Met used to have a discount ag rate, went away in the 2010, 2011, they kind of phased it out. But there's some discussion of maybe that would be something to think about bringing back. And so, started at the committee today. We'll see if it gets any traction. It's kind of, I think it's mixed reviews coming back on that suggestion, but I think it would be a good thing. So, anyways, so they've been very helpful on that front.
Question for you, an update on that little sliver of where the border check is? Are we getting close to taking that over or that?
Well, nothing, but we're actually still working on
Eastern, Western,
some technical, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to work out there. So I'll probably give you a briefing in the next couple of months. We're working on some technical stuff, but not real close on anything yet.
Aqua?
Nothing.
Any committees, workshops, seminars, or training reports? Any request to attend upcoming meetings, conferences, or seminars? Urban Water Institute is in Coronado, August 19th and 21st, and CSDA in Palm Desert is the following week.
What's in Coronado?
Urban
Urban
Water
Water.
Institute.
Oh, I'm going.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I went last year. The first day was really good. Second one was okay. And third one. I don't know. Just go the first day because that was every
Yeah.
single one of them was interesting. I like that conference because you go in one room.
Yeah,
Hear
everybody's
we
together.
all hear the same speaker. I mean, I don't know. sometimes it's hit or miss when you go somewhere and it wasn't that good. And gosh, I wish I would have heard that one, you know.
Yeah, they have some really relevant panels.
Yeah,
Yeah. hot
it is
topics.
water.
Yeah.
It's all bubbles this time.
It's water.
It's bubbles?
Yeah.
The theme is bubbles.
Oh.
Bubbles in government, bubbles in this and bubbles in that. Suggested agenda items for the next regular board meeting. We obviously are probably gonna have, the, board compensation.
Hmm.
Do
Stuff.
we have that already written down? Are we going
Well,
back over?
They will put it on a formal agenda
Yes.
for us to approve.
Yep.
Did you already have that down though for the next time, or do we need to say everything?
No, we'll include it on
Oh.
the next one.
Any other topics? If not, we're adjourned.
Wow. We're 3 o'clock.
2 hours.
Yeah.